Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Carly and I run a handmade small business called Marie Lynn Made. And we're going to be doing a lot of market prep today. Like I said in the last video, I've got a lot to do and not a lot of time. So a lot of the pieces are made, but they need to be put together and finished. So again, I'm going to make my list here of everything that I need to do, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. It is Wednesday and I just got out of work not too long ago, so yeah, we're gonna get started and I'm gonna figure out my list here, and I've got my coffee and we're gonna get going because we've got a lot to do. Okay, so anytime I'm doing market prep or like getting ready for a market, it turns into a complete disaster in here, so don't mind the mess around. It's kind of like an organized chaos. I know where everything is. It may not look nice in here, but I get things done. So I try to like clean up as I go, and sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, but it's kind of a mess in here right now. But the first thing on the list, we're going to redo my signs. And I'll show you guys how I do that as well. I just do it in Canva and then like print them all out. And I have the paper that is actually almost this color. Instead of doing white printer paper, I got like a pastel pink paper. So we're going to do those and laminate them. I need to do the medium and large book sleeves, and we need to do the medium essentials pouches and the large essentials pouches and the liners. Liners for both, we need to cut those. So, and I have 6 bobbins still filled, so we're okay on those, but I need to, so I got all of these, let me bring them over here, try not to spill my coffee. So I got all of these pre-quilted, so I just need to trim off the edges and then cut them down to size. Some of them are the medium size essentials pouches, and most of them are the large because those are my newer size. So we're going to do those as well. And if I think of anything else, I'll write it on my list, but we're going to start with this and then go from there. So I'm going to probably start by trimming all of these off and then cutting them down to size, see what we have, and then cut the liners for them. So let's get started. Guess who's overwhelmed? Me. I just cut all of the panels for the essentials pouches. We have the large and the medium, and these are the large book sleeves, medium book sleeves. So that took, honestly, I don't even know what time it is. I think it took about an hour and a half to cut all of those down, and now I have to cut the liners for them. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to grab a bite to eat real quick, and then I will be back and we'll have the liners cut, and then we'll start kind of like pinning it all together. So I'm going to try to get as much done tonight as I possibly can, so I'm not like stressing myself out too much, and whatever I don't get finished is fine. I'm not going to overwhelm myself because I still have time from this weekend until May to get a lot of this done for the big blueberry festival. So I'm going to get as much done as I can in the next few days without stressing myself out too much, because I can feel it already happening. These piles are stressing me out, but we're just going to work through them and do as much as we can and take our breathers, and I'm going to grab a bite to eat so I don't get hangry, and I will see you guys in a few. It'll be quick for you, but it's going to be a few minutes for me, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I've had my dinner. We're going to be back in action here. I got all of the medium book sleeves pinned together, and I have a couple of pins left, so I'm going to start on the larges, and then we'll make all of these so that way I can use the pins to pin the rest of the large book sleeves. Wow, I am a mess. Okay, so what I'm going to do is kind of make sure that they're in order here so it's easier to pin them all together, which they should be. Okay, got all those pinks. And I've been watching on Netflix, I think, let me see what it's called. I think it's the confession tapes. It's pretty crazy and actually, you know, kind of a little bit sad if these people are actually innocent and you know, they confess to a murder or whatever, and then they're going to jail for the rest of their life and they didn't even do it. But, you know, the pressure of the police, you know, makes them confess. And it's just crazy to me that how you would confess to something if you didn't do it. I don't know. That's probably like something a psychiatrist could answer, not me. But it just boggles my mind. And then I feel so bad for them that, you know, they're in prison if they are actually innocent. They have to actually be innocent for me to feel bad for them. And I'm still feeling slightly overwhelmed because I also have a few orders I need to work on as well. So I think what I'm going to do is once I get these pinned and at least this step sewn together, like when you sew it all around, leave the little hole and I'll turn them right side out. I think I'm going to pause because I have to work on these orders. Because I don't like them to take too long going out in the mail. So that's what I think I'm going to do. And I'm still going to show you guys how I make my signs and stuff. And I also, I don't know if I said this, but I laminate them so that way I can reuse them. So I'll make the, like, you know, all of my signs and then I'll put them through my laminator machine just so I can reuse them. And, you know, if they get messed up, you can just wipe it off. But my allergies are out of control today. The past 2 days in Florida, it's been chilly. It's been like in the 40s and 50s. I'm hoping it warms up a little bit more tomorrow. I say that now until like summertime comes and we're all dying of heat. And after this market, I do have one more product I want to work on. I've got all the stuff for it. Obviously, I'm not going to start it right now. I don't have time for that. But yeah, I think it will be really neat. I've got a couple ideas in my head. Like I said, I still want to do the like soda can koozies. And also, I've been drinking a lot out of my mason jars because I have too many of them. So I just want to use them rather than them sitting in my cabinet. So I think what I'm going to do is try to make ones like little koozies for my mason jars too, because they just sweat a lot and it gets everywhere. So I'm going to be working on that too. I've got my little list of things that I want to make. So let me know if you guys have any ideas for products or things that you've been wanting or anything that you think I could add to my website that's a need for you guys. Just let me know in the comments down below. I do want to work on like adjustable strap crossbody bags as well, because I do love a good crossbody bag. So, and I don't want it to be just like your, you know, traditional crossbody. I want it to have, you know, maybe a uniqueness to it that other people don't have. I know that's probably hard to do, but I'm going to be working on that as well. Got a lot of ideas in my head, and those are like what I write down a lot as well, or like ideas that I have in my head, future YouTube videos I want to put together. So got a little notebook of just that stuff too. And I'm still currently reading Brimstone. It's just taking a while because I get sucked into true crime. And then I'm, you know, because I think they had updated the first 48 on Netflix and I went through all that season. So now I'm on to the confession tapes again, which is, it's pretty sad. Like if they're actually innocent, it blows my mind that you would even confess to something like that. I don't know. I don't even think that I could even do that. I've got all of my medium and large book sleeves here, and I didn't film anything yesterday. I was just kind of like in the zone and I completely forgot, so I apologize for that. But this has probably, I think it's just 2 steps left. So we just trim the edges here, cut the threads off, and then we'll turn them right side out, sew up the liner, put the liner in, and then we'll do the top stitch around. So I'm just gonna start snipping the threads off, and I like to cut my corners off as well so they're not super bulky. And I just want to be honest with you guys. I was severely stressing myself out, and I told myself this year I wasn't going to do that. So I'll have all of my essentials pouches over there. And if I get to them, I get to them. I do have quite a few in my bin out there. I was just going to do some of the newer prints, but I got to thinking about it, and honestly, they're not that big of a seller at my markets. So if I get to them, I will finish a few of them up, but I'm not going to stress myself out over something that I know doesn't sell very well at a market. So there's that, and I just wanted to let you guys know that, and to just be kind to yourself doing these markets and prepping for them and all of that, because it can become overwhelming. And honestly, I don't want to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? End up not liking markets because I'm stressing myself out, and it's something that can be avoided. Now, when it comes to the Blueberry Festival, of course, I'm going to have all of my pouches. I'm going to do the laptop sleeves and everything like that, but this is just a smaller market, and honestly, the people don't really care for the essentials pouches. So I sell, a couple of them here and there. And like I said, I do have some in my bin. That's because all my stuff is in the hallway there. So all of my market stuff. So I do have some in the bin there. I probably have 10 or 15. So I'm just going to bring those. And if I do have time, I'll make a couple of them, but I'm not going to stress myself out over it. So we're just going to trim all the threads. I trim all the corners here. And I'm also going to show you guys how I make my signs as well. So I printed out a few, and this is pink paper. I had it on white paper, but I think the pink will look nice with my sage green tablecloths. So I figured I'd switch it up and do pink. So I'll show you guys how I do those as well. But yeah, we're just going to get to working on these medium and large book sleeves. And I was just gonna tell you guys my thoughts about that, and to remind you not to stress yourself out. If you get it done, you get it done. If you don't, it's okay. It gives people an opportunity, or gives you an opportunity to tell people, whether you have an Etsy shop or you have your own website, you could send them there, send them to your online e-commerce platform. So, and have them follow you on social media too. So there's that. And I just wanted to give you my little 2 cents on that, because I was getting really down, and I talked to my sister about it today and just told her how I was feeling. And, she said, don't lose the sparkle that you have or the love that you have doing markets for something so small. And she's completely right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to focus on things that I know sell at a market and go from there. So I'm just going to continue going through these medium and large book sleeves, and I will see you in a little bit so we can do these signs. Okay, so I've got them all turned right side out, and we're just going to close up the liner there with a stitch, and then I put the liner in there, and then we'll do a top stitch around. I like to do the top stitch. It just keeps the liner from falling out all the way, and then it also looks a little bit more better, professional. So that's what we're going to be doing. I will end up filling a few of my bobbins as well, and then we will work on the signs that I have to do. So we're going to finish these up, and it shouldn't take me too long. I'm thinking about, an hour, maybe 2 hours. So, because when you sew it, you got to cut all the strings off and then, go from there. So we're going to get started on these, and I will let you know when I'm finished. Okay, so I've sewn all of the liners closed. And what I like to do, I'll just open it up and pretty much just shove the liner in there and kind of get the corners in there and it'll look kind of funky. So I will start on the sides and pull it down. And I'll show you here in just a second what it's going to look like. And again, if the liner gets in the way, I just kind of like use my fingers and just kind of like push it down. So I start in the corners, or I'll go in here and like pull it out of the way. I just want to make sure that it's down there, and that way when I'm sewing it, it's not going to get like hung up or like crinkled up in there. So let me finish this side here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And whenever I do a top stitch, I do my stitch length is a 4, just because I think it looks a little bit better. So this is what it will look like. Get out of the way. With all my pins, and then I'll just do a top stitch all around. And I just checked my YouTube and we have hit 1,000 followers. I truly never thought that this would be like what my channel is, and I'm so thankful and so grateful for each and every one of you who are subscribed and are with me on this journey. You know, it's just me in my room just sewing and doing what I love, and I thank you guys so much for supporting me and, you know, showing me love and commenting. Like I said in a few videos ago, I think it was my last market prep, I noticed you guys and the ones who comment often. I'm recognizing you, and I just thank each and every one of you. I never thought my channel would become, you know, 1,000 people are subscribed to my channel. That's crazy to me. It's just literally me sitting in my room just sewing and, you know, showing you the behind the scenes of my business, and I'm just eternally grateful. And, you know, I just wanted to say thank you guys. So, and while I finish pinning all of these, I want to know, do you guys have any markets coming up for spring? Is there anything market prep wise that you guys have questions about, or even like, you know, supplies you need on market day or things that I bring? Just let me know in the comments down below. I'm not a pro by any means doing markets, but I've done, you know, a good amount of them to be able to give some feedback. So if you do have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, I'm just going to continue pinning these and getting these finished up, and then we'll finish up those signs. And I think once we get the signs done, I'm going to kind of do, and I'll bring you guys along with me too, kind of do a run through and bring all my bins in here and go through them. And I've got to charge my iPad for taking payments tomorrow. I got to charge my card reader, my 2 battery packs, and make sure all my camera batteries are charged as well. So I want to take you guys along with me on the market. Tomorrow is also they're allowing, they're calling it like a young vendors market too. It's just the downtown street market in Brooksville, but they're allowing kids to, obviously their booth fee was like way cheap, but I think that is so cool. They're allowing kids to have their own little booth in the market, and I just love that, because as a kid, I wish that was something that I had growing up too, because I would have been in there. I have always been making things. You could ask my family. You know, I don't know if you guys remember those like hemp bracelets, and I was always making those. And I don't remember what those things were called, but they were like made with the little beads, and you made like frogs, and I don't know what, I feel like all we made were frogs back then, and lizards we made too. But yeah, I just think that is so cute and awesome that they're allowing these kids to, you know, showcase whether they're baking or they're creating things. I just love that. So I'm going to bring you guys along for the market too, and hopefully get some video footage of, you know, walking around the market and showing you all these little kids. I think it's so cool. So, but I'm going to finish these up, and I will be back when they are all finished, and we'll get working on those signs. So I'll show you how I do those too. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've got my paper cutter here, and I've just in Canva like kind of designed out my prices and like, you know, labels and all of that. So I just print them all out. Like I said, I've switched to pink paper instead of white. And so I use my paper cutter and I'll just cut them out into the little squares, and I've got my laminator here. And what I do is I will open it up, a little sheet here, and I will just lay them in here. Maybe I can do them this way. So that way I can cut them too. We'll close that up. Now, so they're in my sheet here, and I will just, whenever it says ready on my laminator, I'm just going to run it through, and then we'll cut them again. And that way, like with, you know, at the events or anything, if something spills on it, you can just wipe it off. If they get dirty, wipe it off, and you don't have to remake them so often. So this is how I make my signs, and I'll just put tape on the back of them and just tape them on either the table or like my stands and all of that. So yeah. All right, so once it's ran through the first time, I'm just gonna cut them out, and then we're left with these little squares here, and I'll just run them through the machine one more time to just make sure that they're pressed completely. And yeah, these are what I use on my tables and, you know, just my signs around. So yeah, I'm gonna finish these up and then I will see you in a little bit. All right, and I didn't show you guys this one either. This is just a 5x7 that I put in a clear acrylic sign that is, it's listed in my Amazon storefront down below. But I don't laminate these or anything because they'll just go right in the sign holder there, and I'll put that right in front of the Kindle and book sleeves. So I'm just going to work on finishing up the top stitch around these and pack my lunch and snacks for tomorrow and make sure I have lots of water. But I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me this week, and stay tuned for next Saturday because it will be the market vlog for the downtown street market in Brooksville, Florida. And I appreciate you guys so much, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye.